Hi everyone and welcome to chapter 9. In this chapter we are going to discuss about fundamentals of capital budgeting. So let's start. So what are we going to discuss? We are going to discuss the capital budgeting process, forecasting incremental earnings, determining incremental free cash flows, other effects on incremental free cash flows. We'll analyze the project, we'll discuss real options in capital budgeting. So learning objectives: identify the type of cash flows needed in the capital budgeting process, forecast incremental earnings in a pro forma earnings statement for a project, convert the forecasted earnings to free cash flows and compute a project's NPV. Learning objectives: recognize common pitfalls that arise in identifying a project's incremental free cash flow, accessing the sensitivity of NPV to changes in assumption, and identify the most common options available to managers in projects and understand why these options can be valuable. So before we start, I'm going to open an Excel and explain to you what this whole chapter means. Okay, and we'll follow through an example, understand it, and then go back to slides. So in the last chapter you discussed the process of calculating net present value. So a project is accepted if present value of benefits, that is inflows, is greater than, so present value of benefits is greater than present value of costs. So this is our accepting and rejecting criteria. If present value of benefits is greater than present value of cost, we accept the project, otherwise we reject it. Now, what are benefits? Benefits are cash flows. So for any firm to accept a project or reject a project, we need to know cash flows from the new project. We need to know cash flows from new project, which is nothing but incremental cash flows. What are incremental cash flows? Cash flows that are happening in addition to whatever was happening before because of the project. So cash flows that are directly resultant because of the project. Okay. So those are incremental cash flows. Now how do you find incremental cash flows? So we have discussed in chapter 2 that from EBIT, earnings before interest and tax, or net income, from net income you can find cash flows. So how do you do it? In net income you add depreciation, you reduce capital expenditure, and you reduce increase in working capital. So you find net income from the income statement, you take that net income, you add non-cash expenses, you reduce cash expenses, you reduce increase in working capital, and you get cash flows. So this is what we are going to do in this chapter. We are going to figure out what is the net income, right, which is unlevered profit in our case. Then we are going to add depreciation to it, then we are going to reduce capital expenditure from it, then we'll add increase in working capital to it, and we'll get cash flow. So we'll take an example and try and understand it more. So let's see. So Apple wants to launch an Apple Glass. It is looking at technology change and it thinks that it can sell the Apple Glass once it launches for the next 4 years. Cost of this project, $15 million has to be spent in engineering and design cost. So it is like hiring engineers and hiring designers to figure out how the glass should look, what should be the functions, etc. It is creating an asset also, $7.5 million it is spending to create a new lab. 11 million is COGS, cost of goods sold. So for creating those glasses that it is going to sell. The COGS, cost of goods sold, is 11 million. 2.8 million each year in advertising expense, so it has to advertise the glass too, so 2.8 million for that. R&D has a depreciation of 45%. So what is R&D? Research and development. So it is spending $7.5 million on a new lab, so it is creating an asset. Now that asset needs to be depreciated. Now that depreciation works out to be 45% each year. Okay. Now in Canada, we do not call it depreciation. We call it capital cost allowance. So CCA on R&D expense in Canada is given to be as 45%. So capital cost allowance is nothing but depreciation, but in Canada we call it capital cost allowance instead of depreciation. Marginal tax rate is 40%. The project leads to increase in working capital of 2.5 million in first year, which would be sold off in the nth year. So what it is saying, that because of this project you are building some inventories. From inventories you make sales. So it leads to an increase in working capital of 2.25 million in the first year, and later on in the fifth year, after 4 years, when the project is winding down, you will sell off that working capital. So it increases in first year, it decreases in the last year. Revenues for 4 years are $26 million each. In the fifth year, Apple can either use the current labs or use this lab, $7.5 million lab, for other purposes, or sell it for 8 million. Okay, so let's see how to do this example and calculate cash flows and values Apple. And let us assume that cost of capital, that is discount rate, is 10%. So let us assume in this example, cost of capital or discount rate is 10%. So let us put all the things that are given to us in an income statement and then try to solve it. So this is the income statement we are going to use. Sales. So we are going to find first unlevered income, and then we are going to find cash flows, and then we are going to value that company. So it starts with sales minus cost of goods sold gives you gross profit. From gross profit, you deduct advertising and selling expenses, you deduct research and development expenses, you deduct depreciation, which is called as capital cost of allowance, right? You get EBIT, earning before interest and tax. You deduct taxes from it, you get unlevered net income. Please note, we are not deducting interest from this income. In chapter 2, you were deducting interest from it. In this chapter, we do not deduct interest. The reason we don't deduct interest is we are going to factor interest separately when we calculate net present value. We are going to use discounting anyways. So we don't need to factor in interest right now. Okay. So once you have unlevered income, you add CCA to it or add back depreciation. We are finding, so this was income statement, this is cash flow statement. So in cash flow statement, whatever net income is there, you add CCA, you deduct capital expenditure, you deduct increase in net working capital, and you get cash flows. So let's put whatever things are given to us, right, in that problem, and then try and solve it. Okay. So let's go. So easy things first, $26 million sales each year. So I'm putting it in thousands so that it is little easier. So 26 million in thousands is 26,000. For 4 years, it is going to have 26 million as sales. Then COGS is given 11. Okay, COGS is 11 million. So 11 million is in each year for 4 years. So we can calculate gross profit. That is easy. 26 minus 11. 26 minus 11. 26 minus 11 and 26 minus 11. So gross profit is $15 million. Now, do you know advertising expense? Yes, $2 million in advertising expense. So I'll highlight that too because that's gone. So 2800, 2800, 2800 and 2800. So advertising expense is gone. Now research and development. So $15 million of engineering and design cost. So $15 million of R&D, but it only happens in year 0, right? It's at the start of the project. It doesn't happen later on. Okay, now we need depreciation. So we need to calculate depreciation. So what is the asset you're creating? You're creating an asset of 7.5 million. So $7.5 million is the new lab that you are creating. So you have to charge depreciation on that and then bring it here. So there is a format that is given by CRA for CCA calculation. Okay, how does it work? What is the total spending that you were doing? Total spending that you were doing is 7,500. Okay, so 7,500 is the total spending you are doing. Now CCA has a format, right? CCA says you can take half of 7,500 in the first year and half of 7,500 in the second year. So you don't take entire 7,500, you don't create entire 7,500 and start charging depreciation. Half you take in the first year, half you take in the second year. Okay, so initially nothing, 0 years you don't charge anything. In first year 7,500 is taken, right? Now depreciation is charged at what rate? Depreciation is charged at 45%. So this is 45%. Okay, so UCC is the asset value. So asset value is 3750. You charge depreciation on that. At 45%, so 1687. How much asset is remaining after charging depreciation? 2062. This gets carry forward, so new asset is 2062 plus new asset is 2062 plus 3750. So asset that was remaining in the first year after first year's depreciation plus 3750 which CCA puts in. So any asset you create, you divide that asset into 2 years because you don't know when you are buying the asset, at the beginning or at the end. So you divide it into 2 years. First year you charge half, second year you charge half. This is the format that you have to remember. Then you charge 45% depreciation on that. So 5812 was the asset, depreciation was this much is left, which gets carry forward. Okay, then again I'm just going to copy this. You again charge depreciation at 45%, this much is left. Okay, and then drag it to 5 years. Okay, now the funny part about depreciation is about creating an asset. CCA allows you to keep on charging depreciation on that asset until that asset is sold. So even if you're not using that lab and the project is over, you can still keep on charging depreciation. So if you see, even beyond 5th year, you can keep on charging depreciation. So 200, 130, 72, etc. But we are not going to be concerned about that right now. We'll think about that, what to do, but right now leave it. So this was the depreciation in year 1, depreciation in year 2, depreciation in year 3, depreciation in year 4, and depreciation in year 5. Depreciation is called CCA in Canada. So CCA in respective years. So we have to take this depreciation and bring it here. Okay. So this is the total depreciation, and in the 5th year it is 445 because we have 0 to 5th year. 0 years there is no depreciation. Okay. So that's done. So what is EBIT? EBIT is first year you only have cost. So EBIT is negative value. This $1,500 negative, $15 million negative. Next year onwards you have EBIT, right? So what is that? Gross profit, whatever gross profit was there, minus SGA minus depreciation. So $10 million almost is gross profit in year 1. Year 2, EBIT in year 1. Gross profit minus SGA minus CCA. And I'm just going to drag this. And year 3, you just have negative 435. So you just have a negative value of 435, which comes from CCA. Okay. Next is income tax. What is the income tax rate? Income tax rate is what is given in income tax is 40%. So not 45, it is 40%. Income tax rate 40%. So how much would be tax on this? $6 million, $4 million, and so on and so forth. So I'm just dragging it. Net income, whatever was given minus taxes. So 9 million, 6 million, 5 million, and so on and so forth. Now this was the net income. So this was our income statement. Now we need cash flows to value a company. Now we need to find cash flows. How do you find cash flows? From unlevered income, you add CCA, you deduct capital expenditure, and you deduct increase in working capital. So what is CCA? CCA is 0 in first year, but CCA we know for the next years it is this value. Okay. Capital expenditure, first year you're spending 7.5 million. So 7,500 is the capital expenditure in the 0th year. Okay, you deduct capital expenditure from it, right? Increase in working capital, initially nothing. They said initially nothing. First year they said it is increase in working capital 2.25 million in first year, which will be sold off in last year. So it increases by 2250 in the first year, and it decreases by 2250 in the last year. So cash flow is always unlevered income plus CCA minus capital expenditure minus increase in working capital. Okay, So this is cash flow in year 1. Cash flow in year 2 is unlevered income plus CCA minus capital expenditure minus cash flow. And if you just drag it, you get a cash flow profile. So minus 16.5 million you spend in year 1, then year 0, year 1 onwards you make some money, 5, 8, 7.5, 7.6, 2.4, and you close the project. So what would be NPV? Net present value would be 10% is the discount rate for us. So net present value is present value of benefits. So benefits are these, okay, minus initial spending 16,500. So NPV for this project is positive $82 million, not 82, $8.2 million. So this project is viable. Apple should take this project because it is generating a positive NPV of $8.2 million. Now in the exam, you can calculate free cash flow by using this statement, which I suggest, highly recommended, because it's easier that way. Calculate CCA first, bring it back here and use the format to calculate cash flows and then calculate NPV. But there is other way. You can use these formulas given in the book to calculate free cash flow. So you can use, which is nothing but this statement. So free cash flows is revenues, whatever is given, minus cost minus CCA into 1 minus tax plus CCA minus capex minus change in working capital. That is exactly what we did. We started with revenues, we deducted cost, we deducted CCA, we deducted tax, we added back CCA, we deducted capex, capital expenditure, and we deducted change in working capital. Increase in working capital is positive, decrease in working capital is negative value. Or you can also rewrite this formula because CCA is twice, so you can subtract it. Revenue minus cost, this is the other formula. Revenue minus cost into 1 minus tax minus capital expenditure minus change in working capital plus tax rate into CCA. So either you can use this formula or you can use this formula to calculate free cash flows instead of using this statement. But I would recommend using this statement in the exam. Okay. So we have done CCA, we have done cash flow, but this is a wrong way to do it. Why it is a wrong way to do it? Because if you're building any asset, you spend $7.5 million to build an asset. So this CCA benefit, this deduction that you get from cash net income, this keeps on going on into the future. So like we did, so this CCA benefit, it's a benefit because it decreases your taxes. So this keeps on going. This CCA benefit keeps on going on in the future. So you have to factor that in, but we didn't factor it. We only factored it till year 5. We didn't factor it year 6 onwards. So this was not factored. Okay. So how to factor that? So since CCA keeps on growing on into the future, we use this format instead to calculate cash flow. How to use this format? We don't include CCA in income statement and we do not include CCA in cash flow statement. So we do not deduct CCA and we do not add CCA. Instead, we calculate present value of the whole CCA amount and we add it in the end. We calculate the present value of whole CCAs that you are going to get because of that asset, right? The present value of that, and we are going to add that up in the end. So instead of using CCA separately in the cash flow statement and income statement, we ignore CCA and we add present value of CCA in the end. Now how to calculate present value of CCA? It is capex into D, right? Capex is 7.5 million. In our case, D is the depreciation rate into tax rate divided by R. R is rate of discount plus D into 1 plus R by 2 divided by 1 plus R. 1 plus R by 2 divided by 1 plus R. So let's calculate present value of CCA in our case so that you understand it better. So first is capex. What is capex? 7500. Okay. Into D. D is depreciation rate of CCA. What is depreciation rate of CCA? 45%. Okay. Into tax rate. Tax rate, marginal tax rate is 40%. Okay. Divided by R plus D. What is R? R is 12%. 10%, sorry. Plus D. D is 45%. Okay. So 10 plus 10% plus 45% into 1 plus R by 2. R is 12% by 2 divided by 1 plus R, that is 12%. So you have to put this whole thing in formula. 7500 into 45% into 40% capex into D into tax divided by 10% plus 45% star 1 plus 12% by 2 divided by 1 plus 12%. So the value comes to 2323. So we recreate this whole statement and do it. So I'm just going to copy it first and then we'll work on it. What changes are to be made. So this was your statement. Okay. So 2.6 million is sales, 11 million cost. You calculate gross profit. SG is 2.8 million. R&D initially 15 million. This is not included, so this goes to 0. Okay. Why it is going to 0? Because we are factoring that separately. Okay. Then EBIT is this one. So EBIT is gross profit minus SGA minus CCA. So that's right. So EBIT comes, income tax comes, unlevered profit is coming. Okay, unlevered profit is coming. Then coming to cash flows, we don't add CCA, so we ignore this. So I'm highlighting it because we are ignoring that. So we ignore deducting CCA, we ignore adding back CCA. We add capital expenditure, we add net working capital, we get cash flows. Everything remains same. So only difference is not including this. So these are the cash flows. So 1600 you are spending first. Okay, so these are the cash flows. We calculated present value at 10% and we deducted 1500 plus that. and we have to add one more step, because in this whole calculation you also got present value. So this was NPV, or this is present value of benefits minus cost. This is present value of benefits minus cost. We add one more thing to it, that is present value of CCA tax shield. So present value of all the CCA you can claim ever. So NPV becomes this plus this 8378, which is little higher than what we calculated here, 8289. Why it is little higher? Because the benefits of creating an asset, means decrease in taxes that you're going to get from that, it continues beyond 5th year. So the right way to do it is ignore CCA, do not add CCA in income statement, do not add CCA in cash flow statement, calculate CCA's value separately and add it back. Rest of the thing remains the same. You calculate cash flows, you calculate net present value of those cash flows, and you get CCA. Okay. Now this works when you're not selling that asset, but there are two possibilities. Apple can use the lab for other purposes, or sell it in the 5th year for $8 million. Now what happens when you sell this thing? There's this lab that you created for $8 million. So in that case, the value changes a bit, means the process of calculating changes a bit. So when you're selling, this works, this perpetual tax shield works when you're not selling that asset, you're keeping that asset for something else. But if the project is over and you want to sell the asset, then you have to use the sunk cost formula sheet. How to do it? It's a 3-step format. So I'll deduct this. Okay. Step 1, calculate capital gain tax, right? This tax is subtracted from the last year's profit. So calculate capital gain tax, and this tax is subtracted from last year's profit. So if you see here, we'll have capital gain tax thing. So we subtract it from last year's profit. Okay. Then step 2, calculate PV of tax shield using the modified formula. So since you're selling the asset, you have to include this function. So this was the same. This is the same thing that we calculated before, but you are selling the asset in the 5th year. So you have to factor this part in. So this is the subtraction that you have to do, and we use the revised format to calculate cash flows. So let's do that. So first is capital gain tax. So it is 0.5 into 8 million is the selling price, 7.5 million is the buying price, like you constructed the lab for 7.5 million, and 40% is the tax rate. So 0.4, or we'll put 40% here. Okay, so 100 is the capital gain deduction. So I'm just putting 100 here. This was the first change. Second, calculate PV of tax shield. Now this is complex, so pay attention. It is first factor. So let's do it separately. Let's calculate the first factor first, this factor first, then calculate this factor first, then subtract the both, because otherwise we may go wrong. So 7500 7.5 million, that is 7500 for us, into D 0.45, right, that is 45%. D is depreciation rate into tax rate 40%, divided by R 10% plus D 45%, into 1 plus 12%, sorry 10% by 2 divided by 1 plus 12%. This was the first bracket. Okay, the second bracket, so it is 2301 something. The second bracket is minimum of sales price and capex. So sales price is 8,000, capex is 7,500. So sales price and capex, whichever is minimum. So capex is minimum, so 7,500. Okay, into D into tax. D is 40%, sorry 45%, and tax is 40%, divided by R plus D. R is 10%, D is 45%, okay, into 1 divided by 1 plus 10% to the power years. So years is 4. You're selling the asset after 4 years. Okay, so difference between two is tax shield 624. I'm just checking. 7,500 capex, 45% D, TC 40%, 1 plus D 45%. Perfect. This one, yeah, perfect. So this is the present value of tax shield. Where does that go? It goes in the last thing. Okay, it goes here. Okay, now rest of it is copy paste. Sales is given, everything is given, EBITDA is given. Okay, so these are additions. So capital gain tax, you have to consider it in the last year 100. So cash flow is nothing but unlevered income plus CCA, which is 0 in our case, minus capital expenditure, minus increase in working capital, minus taxes. So 6,500 so these are the cash flows. Then present value of CCA shield is 624. So NPV is nothing but 624 plus NPV, present value of all the benefits at 10%, Okay. And minus 16,500 cost of the project. So NPV comes to 6617. Okay. So this is how you incorporate sunk cost. What is sunk cost? When you're selling the project. So different ways to do it. Basic is same. You calculate in net income, you calculate cash flows, you discount the cash flows, find the NPV. Now, first of all, always you need to do CCA calculations, right? If you're considering only for those years, then include those CCA calculations, find the cash flows, discount it. Perpetual tax shield is CCA benefit continues beyond the life of the project. So we treat CCA separately. We do not include it in income statement and we do not include it in cash flow statement. And sunk cost is sometimes you sell the asset. So if you're selling the asset, then you have to incorporate that into present values of CCA calculations. So we did that. Okay. So we'll go to the slides and cover those slides now. So what is a capital budget? It is a list of projects that a company plans to undertake during the next period. Capital budgeting, the process of analyzing investment opportunities and deciding which one to accept. We always consider incremental earnings. Incremental earnings is the amount by which firms' earnings are expected to change as a result of investment decision. So we didn't consider the whole income statement, balance sheet, income statement and cash flow statement for Apple. We only consider the incremental stuff. Incremental revenues and cost estimates, factors to consider when estimating a project's revenue. A new product typically has lower sales initially. The average selling price of a product and its cost of production will generally change over time. So you get more efficient. So the cost keeps on going down. Later on, the margins expand. For most industries, the competition tends to reduce the profit margin over time. But when your margins will start expanding, there will be an external force. A lot of other competitions will come in. So you may have to lower your price. Operating expenses versus capital expenditure. There are operating expenditures that you expense out, you do not capitalize, so you do not do a CCA adjustment. There are capital expenditures in which you create an asset and then you charge CCA, that is depreciation. Capital expense and capital cost allowance. The cost of plant, property and equipment is divided to be deducted when estimating earnings. For tax purposes, the CRA requires use of capital cost allowance. For financial purposes, CCA is not used. We call it depreciation, but for tax purposes, we call it CCA. It's one and the same thing. The incremental CCA deduction claimed at the end of the year is value of the asset times the rate that is given by CCA. So this we have seen how to do it. Important stuff like CCA is divided, like whatever you're spending is divided into 2 years. Initially, half of it is spent in year 1, half of it is spent in year 2. Incremental revenue and cost estimates. Incremental earnings before income and tax, EBIT, equals to incremental revenue minus incremental cost minus CCA. That is what we did in the Excel sheet. Capital cost allowance, the CRA method of depreciation for income tax purpose, the CCA rate, the proportion of undepreciated capital cost that can be claimed as CCA in any given year. Half year rule, a rule stating that any asset may be purchased at any time throughout the year. It can be assumed that on an average an asset is owned for half of the year during the first tax year and half in other one. The undepreciated capital cost, the balance at any point of time given by deducting assets current and prior CCA amount from the original cost. So we did that. So if you see that Excel sheet, so this was the asset value at the start, this was the depreciation, this was the asset value at the end. First year you take half of it. Second year, you take half of it. Taxes, marginal corporate tax rate. The tax rate a firm will pay on incremental dollars of pre-tax income. So that is marginal tax rate, right? Income tax is equals to earnings before income and tax into firm's marginal tax rates. So they have given an example. Loblaws company plans to launch a new line of high fiber, zero trans fat breakfast pastries. The heavy advertising expense associated with the new product will generate an operating loss of $15 million next year. Loblaws expects to earn a pre-tax income of $460 million from operations other than the new pastries. If Loblaws pays a 40% income tax, what will be the taxes owed next year? What is it because of the new product? We need to know Loblaws pre-tax income, and without the new product's losses, it tax rate of 40%. We can then compute tax without losses and compare to tax with losses. So what is it saying? If Loblaws spends something and it doesn't generate the benefit, so it's a loss. So the losses will reduce its taxes. So 450 million was the income, 184 was the total tax that it had to pay. With the new product, Loblaws pre-tax income will be 460 minus 15 million, 445 million, and it owes a tax of 178. So there is tax saving. When you spend money, there is tax saving. Thus, launching the new product reduces Loblaws taxes next year by 6 million. Because the losses on the new products reduces taxable income dollar for dollar, it is same as if the new product has a tax bill of negative 6 million. So it is like taking a tax credit of 6 million. Then the best way to forecast statement is using incremental earnings forecast, a pro forma statement, a statement that is not based on actual data but rather deposits the firm's financial under the given set of hypothetical assumptions. So we are not looking at the whole statement for Apple. We just looked at what is the incremental benefit from a particular product. So we use that. Taxes and negative EBIT is considered, interest expense is considered, unlevered net income is considered, income that does not include any interest. We do not include interest in capital budgeting decisions. Why? Because interest is factored separately when you discount cash flows. So if you include interest, it will be twice, it will be accounting it for twice, right? So we don't do that. So they have given a formula. Incremental unlevered income is EBIT minus into 1 minus tax is incremental revenue minus cost minus CCA into 1 minus tax. Calculating free cash flows. Free cash flows, the incremental effect on a project on firm's available cash, expenditure and capital cost allowance. So how do you calculate free cash flows? We did that. EBIT, right? Unlevered profit. Add CCA, deduct capital expenditure and deduct increase in working capital. So unlevered profit minus capital expenditure minus increase in unlevered income. Let us consider they have taken an example, SPI phone 86. In table we computed the incremental earnings. We need an incremental free cash flow to decide the project. The difference between incremental earnings and incremental free cash flows will be driven by equipment purchase. So they are also considering an example in which an asset is created. So this is similar to what we did. Sales are there, COGS is there, gross profit is there, SGA is there, R&D is there, capital allowance is there, EBIT is there, tax is there. We calculate unlevered profit. We deduct CCA first, then we add CCA again, right? And we deduct capital expenditure, we get free cash flows. By recognizing the outflow from purchasing the equipment in year 0, we account for the fact that 7.5 million left in the firm at the time. But by adding CCA deductions in 1 to year 5, we adjust the incremental earnings to reflect the fact that CCA is not a cash flow. calculating free cash flow from earnings. So net working capital is important. Net working capital is current assets minus current liabilities, which is nothing but cash plus inventories plus receivables minus payables. So what happens is when you start a new project, you generally build up working capital. So you build up your inventories and you start selling, so you get receivables. But when you end the project, you close, you deduct, yeah, right, you reduce your working capital because you sell off whatever is there with you. So working capital generally builds up and then it goes down. So working capital can also be substituted by trade credit. It is difference between receivables and payables. So how much credit you give to your suppliers, how much suppliers credit is there, and how much credit is given to customers. So difference between that is trade credit. So they continue that example. Suppose that SBI phone will have no incremental cash flow or inventory requirements. However, receivables are going up. So you can calculate 15% of sales are receivables and 15% of COGS are payables. So 3.9 million is receivables, 1.65 million is cost of goods sold. Deduct the two, you should get working capital. So working capital changes. Okay. But we don't consider net working capital. We only see increase and decrease when we are factoring cash flow. So what is happening? Working capital is going from 0 to 2.25 million and then it is going from 2.25 million to 0. So we only consider year 1 and year end. Any increase in working capital represents an investment that reduces cash available to the firm. So it reduces free cash flow. We can use our forecast. So increase in working capital reduces free cash flow. Your cash is blocked, so we deduct it. Decrease in working capital increases cash flow, so we remove it. This increase represents a cost to the firm. This reduction of free cash flow corresponds to the fact that 3.9 million of firm's asset in year 1 and 1.65 million of cost has not been paid. In year 2 to 4, net working capital doesn't change. So that's the bottom line. We only consider year 1 and year 5 when the increase and decrease happens. Okay. So cash flow effect, change in working capital, it decreases and then it increases and then it decreases. So increase and decrease. So you will deduct increase and you will add back decrease. So then they have created a sheet again, which we also did. So see the Excel sheet. The free cash flows differ from unlevered net income by reflecting the cash flow effect of capital expenditures on equipment, CCA, and changes in working capital. Note that in the first 2 years, the free cash flow is lower than unlevered net income, reflecting the upfront investment in equipment and net working capital required by project. In the later year, free cash flow exceeds the unlevered net income because depreciation is not a cash expense. In the year, the firm ultimately recovers investment in net working capital, further boosting the free cash flow. So instead of using a statement, you can use these formulas, either revenue minus cost minus CCA into 1 minus tax plus CCA minus capex minus change in working capital, or revenues minus cost into 1 minus tax minus capital expenditure minus change in working capital plus tax into CCA. Calculating free cash flows directly. CCA tax shield, the savings that result from the ability to deduct depreciation. Okay. So what are we saying? That CCA continues infinitely in the life, right? So CCA will go beyond the years of the project. So you have to factor that thing in. So you have to calculate present value of CCA. How to calculate present value of CCA? They are still calculating NPV. We have done this NPV. We calculate net present value. using discount rate. So we had considered 10% rate. So you discount each cash flows by respective years, you calculate present value, and you subtract 16.5 millions from that. Okay, based on our estimates, yeah, this is okay. Now, other factors that impact free cash flow, there are opportunity cost. So instead of doing this project, Apple could have done something else. So there is an opportunity cost for everything. So it is pulling out engineers, it is pulling out resources from other projects to do this project. So there is opportunity cost for that. Project externalities are there, indirect effects of project that may increase or decrease. So example, cannibalization. So if Apple Glass is launched, it may impact sales for iPhones. No one means people will prefer glass over iPhones. So your existing product lines can be impacted because of products. Then there is sunk cost. Sunk cost is what to do after the project is over. Either sell those plants or use them for something else. So there is a fixed overhead and there is past research and development. So any unrecoverable cost for which the firm is already liable becomes a sunk cost. So if you're not selling the asset beyond the life of project, we calculate present value of tax shields that keep on going on into the future, which is capex into D into tax rate R plus T 1 into 1 plus R by 2 divided by 1 plus R whole square. Okay, this 2 shouldn't be there. So if salvage value is there, we use this whole formula. Capital gains tax we calculate, then we calculate tax shield and we deduct. So this whole formula, capex into D into T 1 plus R by 2 divided by 1 plus R, and then minus minimum sales into capex 1 plus R plus D into T TC, and we did this in the Excel sheet. Okay, SPI is expected to sell specialized computer equipment. So it had spent $7.5 million to build it. It is selling it for $8 million. Okay, redo the NPV calculation. In order to compute the after-tax cash flows, you will need to incorporate the effects of cash flows on salvage value and capital gain tax and the lost TCA tax shield. So what changes? So you do not consider CCA. So you ignore CCA, not included in calculating unlevered profit, and it is not included in calculating cash flows. So you do not consider CCAs. So you instead calculate present value of tax shield separately and add it at the end, and you calculate tax, capital gain tax, and you deduct it from 5th year. The rest of it remains the same. Calculate the NPV. You should notice that NPV is much higher than we calculated before. The reason is because the large asset sale price. Note that the PV of CCA tax shield yeah. So reason is higher because the asset price sale. Note that PV of tax shield is lower and there is capital gain. These are other effects of asset sales. So point to note, figure out whether the asset continues in future or whether the asset is sold. If it is sold, use the sunk cost format. If it is not sold, use the previous format. You should note that NPV is much higher than what was calculated. Yeah, we did that. Adjusting free cash flows, sometimes there are tax loss carry forwards or tax loss carry back. So if you're having a loss in any year, you can carry it back for 3 years or you can carry it forward, right, to adjust it with profits in any given year. So you have to factor that in. Replacement decisions. Often the financial managers must decide whether to replace an existing piece of equipment. The new equipment may allow increased production, result in incremental revenue, or simply be more efficient, reducing cost. So they have given an example for that. You are trying to decide whether to replace a machine on your production line. The new machine will cost 1.25 million, but it will be more efficient than old machine, reducing cost by 500,000. And your old machine could be sold for 50,000 and you expect the new machine to sell for 100,000. While the company does not intend to add any more asset into the pool, it does not have many assets in the pool, so pool will continue indefinitely. The new machine will not change your working capital needs. The CCA rate is 45%, the tax rate is 40%, and expects a 12% return. So revenues are zero, but the cost goes down. So cost goes down by $500,000. So incremental capital expenditure 1.25 million you're spending, 50,000 you're getting back by selling the old equipment. So 1.2 million you're spending is the net change to asset pool. So cash flow from salvage is 100,000. So you can put it. So sales are not being impacted, but the cost is going down by 500,000. So gross profit goes up. So when cost goes down, the profit goes up. So each year the profit will go up by 500,000. So EBIT is 500,000. You calculate, we don't include CCA because we calculate it separately. So EBIT is 500,000. You calculate tax on that. So 200,000. Unlevered profit 300,000. There is no cash flow. So let's calculate free cash flows. So CCA is not included. Capital expenditure 1.2 million here, but you get back 100,000 later on. Okay. Free cash flow 1.2 million here, 300,000 here, 300,000 here, 300,000 here, 300,000 here, 400,000 here. Discount factors means we discount it back. So this is the cash flow, this is present value, and this is NPV. So try and do this problem from the slides. I am going to upload the slides, try to cover it so that we can do it. Okay. Even though the decisions has no impact on revenues, it still matters for cash flow because it reduces cost, right? So revenues are not impacted, but the cost goes down, so profits are impacted. Just as important are tax implications for selling the old and new machine. Notice that PV of cash tax shield is greater than NPV. Notice that PV of CCA tax shield is greater than NPV. Had we not considered these tax implications, the replacement opportunity would have looked like a good one. Sensitivity analysis, a capital budgeting tool that shows how the NPV varies as single assumption is changed. Break-even, so you can do a sensitivity analysis. We have done a lot of assumptions. So we have taken the rate as 10%. You may change that rate. We have taken like assumptions of increase in working capital. You can change that assumptions, right? So a lot of things can be changed. So you can do a sensitivity analysis by looking at what is the impact on NPV because of these changes. Break-even analysis, the level of parameters for which an investment has NPV of 0. Accounting break-even, it is calculated as using this formula: unit sold into sales price minus cost per unit minus SGA minus CCA equals 0. So find out the number of units sold using this formula. Okay. Scenario analysis, a capital budgeting tool that shows how the NPV varies as number of underlying assumptions are changed simultaneously. Now there are real options in capital budgeting. Real options are the right but not obligation to take a particular. So what happens is, in real life, this was the book thing, right? In real life, there are different options that are available to you on project. you can delay the project. So you can see what is the impact of delay on NPV. Maybe the things are not ready yet. You have different projects which are occupying you. So maybe Apple can decide to delay Apple Glass. So it can calculate what would be impact of that. Option to expand, right? Option to start with limited production, test the product and then expand later on rather than spending everything right now. Option to abandon. If it is not working after 2 years, just abandon the project, save on incremental costs. So this was the whole chapter. So important thing is Excel sheet, and one thing that we missed out, right, while doing, I realized later on. So in the sunk cost calculation, so we did not consider CCA because we calculated CCA separately, 624. We did not consider CCA in cash flows, but capital expenditure, you're spending 7,500. So you have to factor that in, but you're getting 8 million later on. So we did not factor that in. So only change I am making is factoring 8 million. So your cash flow will be very high in the 4th year because you're selling your lab. So then calculate present value and add back PV of Shield. So this was the change. So this Excel sheet is important. So practice it out, see what I have been doing, and that's it for today. Thank you.